Today I'll show you how to use the art of ghosting. It's a custom-made tool which basically helps the animators use the Maya's ghosting along with the outline of the shader, the toon shader. It will help the animator get a better understanding of the curves of his animation, and hopefully it will make it will allow him to fix his errors instantly. Right, so we'll start off with a new scene, and basically we'll load the script same way as you load everything in Maya. So just clear out the history and file, load script, and you can find it. I'll find it from the desktop. So you can load a script, Control A, and use the the numpad key, enter to run it. And here's the UI of the tool. Alright, so I'll load in a simple scene to display the animations. Oh, sorry, cancel. Open scene. So I'm just going to load in this scene here. It's a simple jump, character animation jump. Right. So that's all there is here. Alright, so now we'll use the tool to see to ghost this character. So now, first things first, you can select the entire group of a character instead of selecting just a mesh like that, which will work as well. But you can also select the entire group. So selecting the group, first thing you do is press create. Now this here will create an outline of the character's body using the toon shader, outline. Which the parameters for that you can manipulate from the outline parameters tab. You can, for example, increase the line width. So I'll leave it up to 0.56. That's fine. 0.4. You can also change the color. So you can just put it to red, for example, something like that. And I'll explain what this color is in a minute. We can also play with the borderline width, but because this character is made out of blocks parented to the rig, you can't really see anything. I'll show you its potential in a little bit when I'm going to import a proper head. Right, some line details here. So that will be the occlusion lines. So everything that's behind the object will be non-visible. Crease lines, so like small details. So you can see here, like these small details will disappear. Get profile lines. Well, in this case, you need it. Border lines. Draw as a mesh. Now, this is quite important because, for example, this outline here is an actual mesh here from the toon shader. But you can simply draw it as line if you want your scene to be lighter. But sometimes, because some scenes are really far away, you can't really see the details of the character. Whereas in this case, you can simply just, when you're close enough, then it will be visible and it will be faster as well to calculate. So it's up to you if you want to use it or not. And finally, it's display the mesh. So you can simply hide the mesh and bring it back on. So that would be, there you go. Right, so we've got the animation here. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Alright. And first thing we created the outline, and now we can pick one of those 4 options here. These are the 4 features of the tool. So a simple go frame, we'll create a new group here, which is called Ghost on Current Frame. So what this does is simply take a snapshot of that particular pose on the current frame. So you can use that anywhere you want to, and it will simply create a snapshot of the character pose on that particular frame where you're on. So there, for example, go frame, and you're done. So this is quite useful if you simply want to check some things, some really manual things on your animation. For example, you want to start here, and then you want to go to this extreme, well, not extreme, but you want to go to this pose here, and then you want to go to where he pushes his body up, that there. So you basically take the entire animation. So you select which frames you want manually to be ghosted. If you want to simply clear the scene, just clear this out, and you will keep the outline of the character, and your settings will be the same, but you'll lose the group of the outlined poses. So now the next feature that you've got is Go keyframes. So this probably works better when you have an actual object that has animation on it. So for example, if you've got a bouncing ball, this will work perfectly well because it will find all the keyframes in the timeline and it will create a snapshot on that keyframe. So for example, if I simply select this group and I manually set some keyframes to show you, so you got one there, say over there, over there, over there, and over here. Let's say you've got these keyframes, you can simply select the group and go keyframes. It will create a keyframe on each of those keyframes here. So that's quite useful, especially when you have a bouncing ball animation. Again, clear, and it will clear the scene. For now, I will simply delete the animation here. Right. Now, next feature of this tool is actually quite important. Is the ghost on every number of frames. So it could be named better, but basically what this allows you to do is to set a ghost instance on every number of frames. So for example, here it's 1, so it will probably go ahead and for each frame it will create an instance, a ghost instance. So because it's quite a long animation, it's 90 frames, so I'm not going to go by 1, I'm going to go like say by 4, and I will say go every number of frames. So what it will do, it will go by every 4 frames, it will create a ghost instance. So as you see, now things get a bit slow in the scene. Well, also got the video recording, but it's also slow itself. So what you can do is simply test now the draw as mesh. So we can leave this aside, leave this out, and we can run it again. Sorry, I need to select the group and go. Did I get this? I think it did. Yep. Well, let me select this. No, I forgot to select it. Sorry. There you go. That's now in lines. And we go back somewhere. Don't matter. And then we go 3 frames. So you see the speed of that. It's a lot faster now, and you can see things real time, which is actually quite nice. Draws mesh. You will hide the mesh, but you will still be able to see the character there. Well, as much as you can. Well, you can change the color if you want to, and you can see the character here. So this is another good feature of it. Clear all to clear the scene from that. Now let's go back to the color it was before. Come on, select the group. Right. So the good thing about this tool is that you don't have to go ahead and select the line explicitly. You can select simply the body or the character or the group in this case, and it will automatically pick up the toon shader behind it, well, the outline of the toon shader behind it, and you will manipulate the outlines based on just simply selecting the mesh or the group. Now, last but not least, you get a pre and post ghosting set of frames. So what this does is it will allow you to see, if you enable this, it will help you have it will update the timeline as soon as you change the frames. So in this case, what you do is you select a number of frames you want to have a ghost instance before, and a number of frames after. So in this case, you get 4 frames on the back, and then 4 instances forward, and the 4 frames ahead. Now, if you run this, you'll see what you get is basically every one frame it will create an instance, and that's not very helpful in this case because things will get really messy. So we clear all. So that's why we've added this feature here, which basically allows you to spread out the frames. So every 3 frames, for example, or every 4 frames, what it will do, you'll get 4 instances, but every 4 frames back. So you go, so the next 4 frames you'll go, so 1, 2, 3, 4. The next frame is going to be on 48. The first ghost instance is going to be on frame 48. Then it's going to be on 52. Then it's going to be on 50, or 56, and so on. So that's quite helpful because plainly you can get a really messy animation like that, a really messy ghost like that, and it was not helpful at all. So this is where the next color comes in. What you can do basically is you can set the color for what the final ghost where you want it to end. So it will start from, say, a red line, and it will fade. Well, it will transition to a blue or light blue in this case. And what you get is something like, select that. Yeah, so you got a red, and pre-post. So it starts from red or dark red, and it ends up to being blue. So back 4 and 4 frames with spread of 4, and 4 frames forward, spreading 4. Now, the good thing about this is that you can automatically update. You don't have to go ahead and reselect that and click on that button again. All you have to do is just pick a frame that you want, and it will update automatically for you, which is a pretty nice feature. So, like that. You can also just play along with the colors if you want to. You can hide that if necessary. That's it. And you don't have to press this again, it will just update automatically. And there you go. Clear. And you're sorted. And doesn't happen again. So it would be nice. It's recommended to disable these because as soon as you enable them, you create, well, basically the script behind it. It will create an instance of this time slider, so it will allow you to update every time you leave you leave on a keyframe. If you keep it enabled, it doesn't hurt, but it will be nice if you just disable it if you don't need it. Right. So to clear everything, so every single instance, every single thing here that you don't need, everything that was been created by the Art of Ghosting script, just clear all, and you're back to normal when wherever you started the scene. Now, let me show you one other thing that you got. You can simply select individual objects to ghost. That also works. So in this case, let's say that I want to select the hips, I want to track this spine, and I want to track the head. I also want to track this bit here. So if I press create, it will create instances, well, if it create outlines for these objects. Now the script, you don't have to keep the object selected, it will automatically pick up which ones you've selected by just clicking on the first one that you picked. So if you just go ahead and pick on the line width, you'll see all of them, all the objects that you've selected. They will play along. So now we just change the color here and everything, and we say go frame. It will set the frames for those. Clear. Every 4. Select the hips. Every 4. And you get that. So clear again. Now the good thing about this tool is that, for example, if you've got the head already created in the toon shader and with an outline, and you try to do it again accidentally, the script will give you I'll take this out. It will say that the object already exists. Just select the mesh and apply ghosting. So it's got some a little bit of user foolproof, basically. So if you just create again, it will not allow you to do so. As soon as you select something else that's not in there, everything it creates it here, and you're fine. You're good to go. So that's where the new one that you've got. So you've got the color here. So just change this to white, and you go frame. You'll get the new frame there. So clear all to delete all my history. I don't want to have anything in here. Close this down, and that's pretty much it about the art of ghosting tool. It's got, well, I'm sure a proper animator will get can imagine a lot more things that you can do with it. But another good feature of the tool is the vertex motion trail. Now this was added later on, and it's a good feature because simply you can select any vertex on the model, and in this case, because it's based on objects parented to the rig, you run on object, and it will create a motion trail on that particular vertex. So if you select that, run an object, it will create the vertex motion trail on that particular vertex, and that's also quite helpful. So you can hide all the motion trails, show all, hide all, show all, blah blah, and you can clear all. Now for the skinned mesh, you need to run on skinned mesh because it works a little bit different. You can find more helpful stuff, helpful details in the help tab here. It's got some examples, and it will help you understand how the script works. And finally, I will open a scene. I will create a new scene, and I will import a model. So I'll just go here, Python. So I will import a head just to show you the line details of the tool. So you get the mesh of your of the character. Press create. It will create an outline. So you can see the outline here. If you just hide the mesh, you can see all these details provided by the toon shader. Now what you can do is you can of course play with the line width and height, so you can get some nice lines here, I guess. Or you can just get rid of the drawer's mesh, and it will take you to just using lines, which is quite nice. So if you enable the occlusion lines, what it will do, it will hide everything that's on the background. So you can see this ear is not visible. So that's actually quite helpful when you're doing some tracking animation and so on. It pretty much helps you with it. You can also hide the crease line. So for example, here in the neck, it will hide those lines here, along with the ones here, just the details basically. And it will give you a much simpler outline to track. Well, I'm pretty sure an animator would love that. Profile lines, well, I guess they're needed. And border lines, for these borders here, you can get rid of it if it's not in your interest. Drawer's mesh, if you don't want it to be, if your scene is very light and you're really far away, you might want to use that so you can increase the line width. And hide and display mesh. So same thing again. So let's pick a nice, well, just go for a white now. And I will bring in the crease lines. Just want to have some nice, like that, for example. What you can do is you can simply go frame again. You'll create a frame here, and if I move the object, say there, you'll get go frame. And there you go. So it works the same way as before. Obviously, you just need to pretty much play around with the tool and see what you can do with it. And yeah, well, I hope you like it. I hope you can try it and give me some feedback on it. That would be great. If you want something else to be added, again, this is my email address. So please contact me if you want something else, or if you want to give some feedback, just comment. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you like it. Bye.